Now, I've already recorded this with Reece, and I just want to make it very clear. This is a exceptional young man who has his head on right. He is professional, he is articulate, and I think he is the future of the industry for so many reasons. It isn't just the way he presents himself or the way that he talks. It's the actions that he's doing to make himself, his brand, and the sport better. We need to get behind anglers like this and promote and make sure that they realize that we have their backs and that we're rooting for them and support them. So please check out the following video and support Reece in everything that he's doing. He is unbelievable. Honestly, he and I spent, I can't even tell you how much time afterwards and before talking about some things that aren't being talked about. And he is really above and beyond one of the young anglers that I can't wait to watch and hope that he's very successful. But check him out. But here you go. Here's the video. The future of fishing is bright because of our next guest. This young man is on the Auburn fishing team. In 2026, he's jumping into the Bassmaster Opens. His mentorship, charisma, confidence, professionalism brings light to the sport. His podcast, The Lure, brings celebrities out fishing as they talk about work and play as they fished. His sponsors include Under Armour, Fanatics, Power Pole, Phoenix Boats, Mercury, Dude Wipes. I think it's called how do you say?
It's a PC Fun.
PC Fun. I apologize.
No worries, no worries.
State Line Marine, Dakota Lithium, and Amphibia Eyewear. If you don't know him by now, you're going to know him very soon. I couldn't be happier to welcome to the show Reece Tremaglio. Is that how you say your last name?
That was perfect. Yes.
Oh my! Oh, I'm 1 for 1 then. Well, I'm 1 for 2.
That was perfect.
I wanted to say thanks for the time, Reece, and congrats to you. How are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it.
So I like to always start off and ask, how did you get involved? Who took you out fishing when you were younger?
So I actually got into fishing during COVID, like the professional bass fishing world. I fished since I was 10, but for catfish off the dock. I got into it right in COVID, and as soon as I got into like the sport of bass fishing and just started fishing every day, because I was an AAU basketball player and I didn't know what my life was going to be like without basketball every day. So that kind of translated into fishing. And once I did that and I fished every day, I just really started to get the mechanics of it, but I didn't really know where to start.
Yeah.
And then a retired pro fisherman actually moved into my neighborhood simultaneously, and he kind of mentored me. His name is Stacy Kraft. Huge shout out to him. And he mentored me to kind of show me where to start in the tournament space, what the levels look like, what kind of avenues there are to take. And I just listened to him and took every piece of advice he gave me like a grain of salt and just went from there.
That's awesome. So how much, because I'm a basketball player too. Basketball, baseball. Love basketball. You start playing AAU basketball. How did that help you at all to when you started fishing, like the competitiveness and stuff or learning stuff? How did that help?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and this was even before basketball, but I'm very, very competitive. So like I hate losing in anything, even things that I'm not even good at. I just don't like losing. So I think basketball kind of fueled that. And then once I went into fishing, I kind of maneuvered that and was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. And I don't want to lose in this either. So I just put in a lot of time and effort into it. And obviously it's starting to pay off, but we got a lot of room for improvement.
It's hard work. It's hard work.
Absolutely.
Did you want to go to Auburn to be on their fishing team? Was that did you apply to Auburn for the fishing team and also the great academics?
Yeah, so I applied to Auburn for the fishing team. I applied for academics, but the biggest thing for me was the overall school experience. I know that I can be a professional bass fisherman out of college. So it was really enjoying these 4 years, fishing for a team, Also, just being a part of that college experience everyone gets. A lot of people that are, I guess, my age, they'll skip college and just go straight into the pro circuit, which obviously is great for them. But I feel like I need a backup plan, and getting my finance degree, which is what I'm pursuing at Auburn, will be huge for having a backup plan and just having a business background.
Dude, you're wiser in your years than you can ever imagine. I don't want to take anything away from any pro angler, but I think having something to step back on, something that, especially finance, have that up front, knowing the issues that can come with being a professional angler is good for you, man. Good for you. How
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. How competitive, because I'm not, I hate to say this, I hate to admit this. I don't really keep up with as much as college fishing as I should. How really competitive is that whole sport for y'all?
Like just like college fishing in general.
Yeah, like I mean, I know you guys get like an unbelievable amount of boats on a body of water, but how does the whole college fishing scene work for you?
So I fish for Auburn, but the issue is just time. So I don't fish too many tournaments, but I can tell you that competitiveness wise, like it, there's guys in college that I've seen that are good enough to be a pro already, but are in the same boat of they want to have a degree, they want to have the backing and the, I would say, experience to go out to all these lakes at a low cost. And also it's also just enjoying college too. But don't get me wrong, these guys are competitive. Like it's not a coincidence that the Bank Shaws, Easton Fothergills, they just come out of college just absolutely destroying everything. And same with Tucker. Like they just,
Tucker's amazing.
yeah, they're all amazing, especially Tucker. And they just, once they get out of college, they're already ready to go. They
Yeah.
they put a lot of time on the water. There's no oh, I'm just gonna kind of work my way up. No, they're already there. They're already there. So
Is that what you're starting to do now that you've decided to make this jump into the opens? Are you going to start like go out there and pre-fishing more? What is your strategy to capitalize on this opportunity to fish the opens?
it's really big on, I'm really big on time on the water. Um, Again, I don't really, I'm not a big information guy from anybody, just because I feel like a lot of that stuff points you in the wrong direction.
Mm.
So I'm very close-minded. Whatever you're saying is whatever you're gonna say, but I just need to go out in the water and see for myself. And I pretty much try to do that. So pre-fishing will be huge. I'm close to Eufaula, and that's Division 1, which is the one I'm doing. So I'll spend a lot of time there. And I've been to Kissimmee and Norman as well. So I think just having time on the water, like making sure that everything is, my equipment's dialed in, is going to be huge, especially because there's, with qualifying for the elites, you have to have very, very little room for error.
Mhm.
And that's just something that requires a lot of preparation in order to do so. So,
Yeah, for sure. What is your favorite style of fishing? Are you a power fisherman? Are you a, I hate to say it, are you a scoper? Have you learned how to use the technology to the fullest extent? What kind of fishing do you like to do?
yeah, so, and I'm sure you'll find this interesting. I got into obviously live scoping, and that's a blast. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
catch a lot of fish on it. It's a lot of fun. But I grew up on the Patuxent River and the Potomac River. Or those are the two rivers I fish simultaneously in Maryland. And I'm a huge flipper. Like, I love it. Like, everybody thinks, like, equates young guys, oh, he's a scoper, he's doing this. I'm like, if I can catch 20 pounds flipping, I would much rather do that than 20 pounds scoping any day of the week. Any day of the week. Like, when I was fishing the Ultimate Angler and we didn't have scope, I was so excited to flip. It was awesome.
That's
It was
that's a great
awesome.
segue. You qualified for Ultimate Angler. What was your overall feel? Did you love it? Did you want to compete again next year? What was your feeling about it?
Absolutely. Like that tournament was a lot of fun. They put on a great event too, especially for the first one. They're very they were very on top of their stuff, making sure everything was organized. And I think that's huge, especially because the MLF and Bassmasters of the world, they've been doing it for a lot of years, way before I was even born.
Yeah,
And for an organization like this to kind of their goal is to unify the anglers and just set up a tournament like this was absolutely awesome. The payouts are crazy,
crazy.
and just a fun tournament. It didn't seem like there was a heavy amount of stress. It just seemed like everybody was there for a good time. And again, like it's without scope. So whatever happens, happens. Like it's just how it works. And yeah, Ultimate Angler, they put on a great event, and I'm sure I heard they're doing it again next year.
They
So
are.
hopefully I can qualify for that again. And just yeah, huge shout out to them. That tournament is absolutely awesome.
How do you, when you're out on the water and it might not be going well for you, how do you deal with that stress? Because there's a lot of times in the umpteen years of dealing and talking to anglers, there's a lot of times, even myself, I would never be a professional angler. First off, I would stink at it. But I appreciate the people that try to do it. But I know that when I get stressed out when I'm not catching them, I know I start to speed up. What do you like to do to try to calm your nerves down when it might not be going the way you want it to go?
Yeah, so what I do is because this actually happened quite a bit last year, fishing the tackle warehouse invitationals. It's just a lot of fishing is actually 90% mental. I
It
tell
is.
people that all the time. And what I put in my head is one fish an hour is like what you need to be at. Like my mentor Stacy, he's told me about that. Like as soon as I started fishing, that's what he told me in tournaments. One fish an hour. So realistically, even if you're making a 2 hour run, you got an 8 hour fishing day. One fish an hour will get you five, will get you hopefully good weight if that's what you're fishing for good ones. But that's kind of what I've always done. So like if I catch one an hour, I'm like, okay, I'm at a good pace. If I don't, then I'm like, this next hour, I need to go catch two. How am I going to be able to do that? So I'm really trying to think more ahead and not thinking of what I'm doing right now to the point where I'm just spinning myself out.
I
I,
love that, man.
I've done that before, and it's honestly the worst is when you spin yourself out and you start throwing a chatterbait with like an 8-to-1 gear ratio, and the fish aren't even seeing it. It's
Yeah,
like you do that before, but it's just you got to just think and just slow down and be like, "There's a reason why I'm here. The fish can turn on any moment. Like that's just how it is." And it's happened to me a lot of times where all of a sudden everything just turns on and becomes a great day.
yeah, yeah. You talked about you fished the tackle warehouse at invitationals. Was the classic or getting to the leats the main goal, instead of trying to fish for the BPT, or was it something else? What came into mind when you were making that decision?
For me, honestly, and this is really nothing against MLF, is just I fished the opens when I was 16, the first year of the EQs, and I felt like uh I kind of had some unfinished business that I wanted to fish the opens again, and I just really like the way Bassmaster they run tournaments. And it's just I really like to go back and forth, and I think that's a misconception. A lot of anglers like a lot just stay with just MLF or just Bassmaster,
Mhm.
but I kind of like to bounce around because there's different audiences for every single like organization, different anglers, and it kind of builds my network and just getting to know a lot of different guys from those leagues that I fish has been absolutely awesome.
It
Like
builds your brand.
absolutely, absolutely.
Do you now I know your mom was the NBA vice president of Players Association. Does she give you some some of her background and say, this is how this person built his brand and this is what I think you should do? How much of an influence does mom have in your life?
Oh, well, I mean, she has an insane amount of influence. Because after she was like president of the MBPA, but even before that, I mean, ever since I was born, she just told me like whatever you're like setting your mind to, like you got to be amazing at it. Like and whatever that takes is like you got to set goals. You got to spend a lot of time doing it is huge. So same with my dad. My mom and dad are like the number one power couple, and they are together supporting my fishing journey like no other parent would, to be
Yeah.
completely honest. And I couldn't thank them enough. And they're also just they guide me with mentorship on how to go about life, but none of them fish. So they're just
Really?
like, none of them. My dad doesn't fish. My mom doesn't fish. My mom came from a fishing background, like her great grandfather was the first black waterman on the Chesapeake Bay. So I guess that's a pretty cool kind of historical fact. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
my family does not fish. I'm literally the only one. So when I explain stuff, they have no idea what I'm talking
Right
about.
over their head.
Right over their head. They have no idea.
So you started this podcast called The Lure. How long have you been doing that?
So I started that, and we came up with because Zane Hampton also he's my agent. We came up with that in, I want to say, March is when we came up with it, but didn't do our first episode until May because of the branding and like figuring out logos and logistics and stuff like that.
Yeah. You've had some great people on The Lure. The podcast is really interesting. I love that you've had one of the things I really respect. First, you're very articulate. You do really well. You come across very honest and humble, and I think that's somewhat needed in this sport. And maybe there's sometimes that people feel that just anglers are not aren't approachable anymore,
That one's true.
and that I think is hurting us. For you to be so articulate, smart, brave, the whole 9 yards, doing it, the lure as a podcast, getting your name out there, doing it right, it just shows. Really, to be honest, it shows how much your mom and dad, how great your mom and dad are. That's the God's honest truth. Um,
Yes.
so I think the one thing, and I have to read, I think after every podcast, and you've had like, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Why would I forget his name right now? Steve Harvey. Had him on. You've called him a mentor and a role model, but how'd you get introduced to him? And I don't mean to be mean. Can he really fish?
Yeah. So I got introduced to him actually through social media, and we kind of had an event planned because he has that mentorship camp every year. Every year, like Father's Day week is what he does, and um, on a trip with my mom, we met the lady. Her name is Sharon Page that we were talking to before. So it just kind of all came together after that. And once I went to the mentorship camp and I spoke to the campers, it was insane. Like there was 200. It was, I think the first year was 200 campers, and by the time I got done speaking, we had Precious Achua from the New York Knicks, who's a close friend of mine. We had a bunch of rappers and basketball players, football players, everybody. And at the end, when people said what they want to be the most, all these young kids were like, "I want to be a professional bass fisherman like Reece." And to me, that like blew my mind
That is awesome.
because it's like this is such a niche sport
Yeah.
compared to like a basketball or football. So to kind of be able to show the kids the sport like how I got introduced to it is priceless. And yeah, Steve, aside from the camp, Steve can really fish. Mr.
Kenny.
Steve is like he is legit. I tell people this all the time. They're like, I don't know. Does he really fish, or is his pond just really good? His pond's really good. Don't get me wrong, but he can fish. Like there was multiple times where I would be out there and he would be like kind of I would show him a few things and he would beat me on the own technique I just showed him. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to take this one on the chin and move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. Steve, he's really, really good.
Are you still doing the mentorship with him at the once a year? Do you go every year?
Oh, absolutely. I
Oh, that's
won't.
awesome.
Even if there was a tournament, I'd probably cancel to go there just because it's to me making an impact in the community is far more than just fishing, and that was just it's just an awesome experience. I've gone for 3 years now, so to be the fourth in June would be it's gonna be awesome again. So
Dude, that is awesome that you do that. Seriously, that is awesome that you do that. Giving
thank you.
back is
I really
really important.
appreciate it.
Now, I read, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. At the end of every podcast, you and whoever your guest is sign a piece of merchandise. All proceeds go to local charities or nonprofits. Yes,
Yes. Yep.
that is even better.
I
That
I
is,
mean, that's honestly one of my favorite parts of the show. It's to see the bidding wars of people that want to buy this merchandise, like the Terry McLaurin jersey, the Tressway jersey, those proceeds. Um, I don't remember which one went to where, but I remember one went to both of them actually went to the Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club, which is where I started started playing basketball just to fund them for jerseys and things along those lines. Especially because Oxon Hills, it's not the most wealthy area in Maryland. So yeah, it was good to kind of give back to community, which I started in. I spent a lot of time there as well, so it was just good to give back. And then Isaac Ellis's we're in the process. We're getting ready to put his stuff online as well. But his is going to organization in North Carolina that's local to him, which is what we're trying to do now is get stuff that is local to the athletes themselves, so it has an impact on them, but to like feed the homeless. So that'll be awesome.
I think I've watched some of his high school. Like he's a basketball player, right?
He's really really good.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think.
we became really really close recently just because he wants to fish all the time like we are definitely have at least 5 to 10 fishing trips planned probably next year that hopefully will happen but he's a huge yeah he's really really good.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think I've seen him on YouTube or something. I followed him in the past for
oh
basketball.
for
Yeah,
sure he's really good.
yeah. That's cool. Is there any place that you're looking for particularly for next year's Open that you think you're going to be that you're it's going to be like your coming out party and just showing out and putting it down?
I mean to be honest hopefully I do good in all of them.
Yeah, yeah. So
but
that's the goal.
that's the goal. But again, I'm all jokes aside. I think I don't know. I mean,
I mean, have you
realistic.
ever come down here and fished?
You said I'm sorry.
Have you ever come down to Florida to fish?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
I actually went to Kissimmee
Okay.
last year for the first tackle warehouse, but it sets up the way I like to fish. But in Florida, it's just so for me because I don't have the experience. It's so unpredictable.
Mhm.
It like the whole
It's a
concept
bathtub.
of I'm sorry?
It's a bathtub.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and, like, there's no contours hardly,
None.
and the only thing that you have that you can go on is the fact that there could be an 8-pounder right next to a 12-incher, and to me, that's so hard to fathom because every other body of water, if you go and you catch a bunch of 12 inchers, chances are that's probably the only thing around.
Yeah.
But in Florida, and this happened to me in practice last year, I literally caught 5 12 inchers in a row. Every cast, found this offshore grass spot. For every cast, next cast I catch a 9-3, and I'm like, how do I replicate this in the tournament? Because I don't think that's gonna happen again. It's just not like I went back there. I caught 5 12 inches a day, and I was like, I don't know what to do because I was sitting there waiting for that 9 pounder because I released him right there, but now he wasn't playing.
Is that your biggest fish? What is your biggest bass?
Yeah, so that is my biggest bass for sure, and that was awesome. But fingers crossed we break it again. But I don't want to break it in practice this time.
Yeah.
It needs to be in tournaments. Sometimes my practices are like really good, and my dad makes a joke out of it. He's like, "Oh, really good practice." He's like, "Oh, yeah, 7 pounds," and I'm like, "Oh, don't put this in my head. Don't. I'm trying to lock in here, and you're already trying to predict what I'm gonna do."
You
But
can't win at practice.
yeah, sometimes some of my worst practices have been insanely good too. Like I fished a Toyota at Santee, and I had probably caught 2 bass all practice, and then finished 15th with and this was September, so it was brutal, with like 11 pound or 10 pounds, 14 and 10. So, and every single one of those fish was on a spot that I hit 3 times in practice and did not catch a bass. I just went back because it looked good. I was just like, there's fish here. I see them here on live scope. And I was like, if they're bass, I'm sure they'll bite 1 out of the 4 days. I know they gotta be hungry sometime. And they
Mhm.
just were. I just got super, super lucky.
You want to there's a I think one of the funniest things about professional fishing is there are so many times you hear an angler, now it might be them pulling the wool over us, but they'll say I had a bad practice, and then they end up coming out and just killing it. It's kind of the mo with a lot of anglers. That kind of revolves into why some of the fans and the public really don't at sometimes trust a lot of professional anglers because they're like, what's going on?
I wouldn't. I like to be honest with you, when I mean I had a bad practice, like it truly means I like did not like I'm a very honest guy, and I think a lot of people applaud me for that because I won't lie, like a lot of these anglers do. A lot of guys, even guys that I've like talked to in the past, like they will straight up completely blatantly lie and just be like, "Yeah, practice was tough. I caught 3 fish all week, 24 pounds." I'm like, "Come on." I'm like, "Really? Like, come on." Like that does not like that does not happen
Yeah, I
like
agree with
at a
you.
random. Like maybe if you have a tough practice, you catch 12 to 13 pounds. I'm like, good for you. Like that's really good. Glad you turn around. But some of these guys are like, I caught 2 fish all practice, and life has been tough, and I don't know what. And they catch 27 pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm sitting here with my 5 tadpoles at the weigh-in line, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this guy's the one that said, and then he gets on stage. I just want to thank everybody because I had a terrible practice. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. All right, here
Yeah.
we go. And then it's like, oh, I had a bad practice. I had a bad practice, and all of a sudden, that's the top 7 guys.
Mhm.
I'm like, all right, you don't have to say that if you know you're gonna catch them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think
Like
it's
that frustrates me.
oh, I think
Like
it frustrates fans.
it does because it and that's what I try to do is like make everything so relatable. Like it's so bad to the point where guys will just like completely change everything around. Like I've seen anglers even on the tackle warehouse that have top 10 like right next to me, and I go and I see their top 10 baits, and I'm like, wow, this is a lie. Like, this is crazy. Like, he was fishing what? I was like, I was like, no, he's fishing something like flipping the bank and picking laydowns. I'm like, he was like in the middle of the water. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? I'm like, I'll look at all that stuff, and now I just, even when I'm doing research for these lakes, and anybody that's watching this, when you're doing research for these lakes, either watch YouTube videos or look at contours on CMAP or Navionics or Lake Master, because if you're looking at the top 10 baits on Bassmaster or MLF or MPFL, all of those are not true. All, like, literally 80% of them are not true. I don't care what people say. Like, if they caught them on a jig, they're gonna show a jig, but chances are it's not the same one.
Mhm.
It's just not. Like, chances are it's just not. Like, guys would be like, I caught him on a minnow. I'm like, okay, thank you, Sherlock Holmes. There's 170 minnow companies. What minnow? And obviously it's, everybody knows which one it is. But they'll be like, oh yeah, I just, caught him on a freeloader. I'm like, right, got it. Yeah, okay. Makes total sense.
Dude, that is awesome. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's one of the issues. I understand you have to hide things from your competitors because you want to have the advantage as much as possible. But I think the problem is that there's almost too much of it going on. Where now with so much social media and so much things that is more available, that fans are looking at it and going, "This," and when they're frustrated because they're like, "Can we really trust what's going on?" And as a professional fisherman, we all realize you have to sell yourself and the people that sponsor you. So nobody minds that, but I think people mind when people start like just exaggerating or lying about what they're using. And I
Oh,
think that's
absolutely.
I think that's a real something that needs to the whole sport and hobby and industry needs to go away with. But change really is hard to do in fishing.
Yeah, I mean, for me too, that's like the number one reason I don't have a bait sponsor. I had Venom Lures, and huge shout out to them. They actually went out of business, but they were my first sponsor ever. But I don't have any bait sponsor anymore. So with that being said, like, anything that I vouch for is just because it's good. And that's what I tell a lot of people is I will point you in the right direction and tell you the baits because that's what I use on a daily basis. Like, I love a drop shot, morning dawn robo worm on a Nico rig, whatever. I'm not sponsored by Robo Worm. I'm not. But if it catches fish and people are asking me, what are you catching them on? I'm gonna give them credit where credit's due because they made good baits.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's just how I am. Like, I don't like to keep secrets because some of these guys that keep secrets, I'm just like, they just seem shady. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's just like, seems shady. You see him pass a polygraph, and you're like, okay, like, how accurate is that really? You're like looking around. You're like, I don't know, because some things, like, I have a lot of questions. I'm always questioning things, like looking around, kind of seeing how the industry is, because I've been in multiple industries now where I just see different backgrounds and just some things. There's so many questions in bass fishing that are going to be left unanswered.
Hmm.
Is a lot of gray area, and that's something that we need to change, and we need to have more people like me that are transparent, and that'll bring the industry together. And that's also why I moved to Bassmasters, because going back and forth, I feel like making an impact in two leagues is better than one. And just being able to, and hopefully out of when I get out of college, I'll be able to fish both because I'll have a lot more time. But it's just, it brings everything together, and that's like the overall goal, is to leave the industry better than what I found it as. The tournament winnings, the catching a lot of fish is awesome, but at the end of the day, if you're not making an impact on the industry, then why are you really doing it?
Well, if you're going to the Steve Harvey thing and mentoring these kids, you're doing a lot more to introduce the youth into fishing than most people do. It's a common thing for people to say, oh, I want to grow this sport. I want to do this. I want to do that. But there's very few people that actually give back, or they look outside of their own box and their brand. I know from myself, we used to, doing the radio show years ago, we do a gumbo cook-off every year. We put
Nice.
out maybe five or $600,000 back into the industry, into team sport fishing or sponsoring things, even though I'm not a big part of it anymore because it was just a headache at the end. But it's still ongoing and they still donate a lot of money. There's very few people that can honestly say that. Everyone wants to brag about how much they do, but then they don't have the background to do it. So for you to do 3 years of mentoring while you're in college and having to deal with that, trying to be respectable and honorable and truthful, dude, you are the exception to the rule of what a lot of young anglers are. And there's a lot of great anglers. There's a lot of great anglers.
For
But
sure.
there's a lot of great anglers that don't know how to talk to the media, that don't want to go out there and promote anything but themselves, or they just shut down. So I honestly, dude, I'd watched a bunch of your stuff before this.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
You're phenomenal. I'm not sugarcoating shit, and I apologize for swearing because I know somebody's
No.
going to say something to you about it. But honestly, man, you just need to keep pushing forward, building your brand, and doing what your mom and dad taught you to do. And just make sure you always tell your mom and dad thank you for it. And as someone who's in the industry, or not in the industry, but is in the industry, but isn't in the industry, as I've been told, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you for having me on. And honestly, today I I will announce this actually here,
I
because
love
I
it.
I think that'll be really cool. Is because my whole goal is I want to make fishing cool, and to make it cool and is what makes it appealing to the younger generation. Because when you see all these guys that are like kind of like, just not doesn't really have that, like, I guess they don't talk exactly what you said. They don't talk well in front of a camera. That just doesn't make it appealing to the youth. And in a global aspect, and I'm announcing this here,
I
I
appreciate it.
am going to Dubai in December 20, like right after Christmas, for their World Sports Summit, and I'll be talking to the youth about fishing. So that'll be huge, especially because that's kind of what they were built on and what the city was built on. And and for Vision 2030 that they have, they're going back to those roots again while integrating the new technology that they have. And my goal is to help them with that and get more kids in the outdoors. So that's what I'm gonna be doing this winter.
Dude, that is unbelievable. That is
It's gonna be an awesome.
unbelievable.
It's awesome. Like it's gonna be an awesome opportunity, especially because it really could change the industry and make it a good, but make give it a good vibe to the outside world.
I I think we always take some steps forward, and what you're doing is taking a step forward. But then we have those nice bad apples that seem to always take us 10 steps back. So as long as you keep pushing forward, that's the best thing. Do you have any more tournaments this year for college?
So I don't have any right now. I'm sure that they might have a few, but like right now is kind of the slow period. I'm also like making like trying to get everything in order. I just took the wrap off of my boat and like getting everything serviced at State Line, Marine, and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of making sure everything is in order, because the winter is when I have to get my boat and truck rewrapped, getting sponsor stuff figured out, and I got a lot to do before I go to Dubai, because when I come back, I practically am getting ready to fish the Open. So it because that's a pretty early start. So I'm just making sure all that's ready, because, like I said, preparation is going to be huge for a good season. So
How tough is it for you to get sponsors right now? Because I think the sponsorship thing has really drastically changed for anglers, especially anglers who don't do YouTube or don't do Instagram. And I'm horrible at Instagram. But how has it been for you to get sponsorships?
So, and I'm gonna be completely honest with everybody, it's not easy. It's really, really hard. Like I I tell people all the time, they're like, "How do you have these sponsors?" And I'm like, super thankful for all of them, but you should see how many people I actually reached out to. Like, it's insane. Like, I I was with Bass Pro for 3 years or 2 years. It took me literally 2 straight years of reaching out to them for them to even reply back to me. Under Armour, I reached out to them a couple times. Then they finally got back to a lot of these companies like Dude Wipes. I've been talking back and forth about a sponsorship for probably a year and a half. And then like a lot of these companies, man, like they're and again, budgets come out in October. So if you it's really a lot about hitting them in the right time.
Hmm.
And it's also just praying. Like, to be completely honest, like, because you put your best foot forward and that's all you can do and market well. But just companies that aren't in store for bass fishing sponsorships, it's a very niche sport. So I'm super grateful because me and huge shout out to Zane for all the help, but we landed PC Fun and Dude Wipes this winter, and we have a couple more things cooking up that hopefully come through. But we're super grateful for them because we just know how hard it is in the industry right now to
Hmm.
get sponsors because it's flooded with the pro staff market, and obviously I'm not complaining because a lot of that stuff is how I got into it, is just getting this like a bunch of sponsors. A lot of people get a bunch of sponsors and they do videos for them and they just get product, which again is great. As me when I was 15, 16, I loved it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a sponsored angler like fishing BFLs. This is awesome." Like I couldn't ask for anything else. But it also hurts people now that need to do it for a living because they're like, why would I pay Reese X amount of money when I get the same thing from the other guy, but I just give him 50% off?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a thing that makes it difficult for just fishing companies. But I just think it's consistency. Like people that are gonna watch this podcast, like reach out to those companies. Don't, oh, I wonder if they're gonna turn me down. We all get turned down. I've gotten turned down more than I've gotten an opportunity, but it's what you do with the opportunities you're given is what will set you apart from others, and then make that full circle moment when deals start to come in. But companies aren't going to reach out to people. That whole theory, that is so out the window. Like I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't
so
happen much.
yeah, no, absolutely not. I've reached out to literally everybody and I'm grateful to work with them. So it really is just you got to just reach out.
You
Like
got to work hard.
yeah, work hard, reach out, put your best foot forward. Like if you reach out with this half written email, that's not gonna like you might as well have just not reached out. But if you put in the time and effort and explain to these companies, that's all you can do. Whether they get back to you or not that's up to them, but that's all you can do. Some companies just aren't in store for that right now, and that's fine, but you got to just put your best foot forward.
Yeah, that's great advice. Great advice from a young man. You
Thank
have your head on straight. I mean, tell your mom and dad I said thank you. Really,
you.
seriously, man.
I will. My dad will probably watch this one too, and he's gonna be grinning ear to ear. He's like, I taught him that. I taught him that. I taught him.
My son's a swimmer. I taught him how to swim. No, I didn't. I didn't. He's just really good at swimming. There's just
That's
no doubt
awesome.
about it. I
That's
wanted him to
awesome.
play basketball. That's the God's honest truth. When my
Yeah,
little He's only 15,
Oh,
and I
I
thought,
mean, he still has a little time. I mean, if he
well,
gets
no.
started like tomorrow.
Yeah, he said to me during the summer, "If I play for 5 or 6 hours a day, daddy, I think I can be like those guys." I go, "You won't be. Just
Yeah, no.
no, it's a whole different way of doing things." Well, I just want to say thank you. Everyone go to Instagram. It's Pax River Reese on Instagram, the Lure Podcast on YouTube. Go follow him. He's going to have a phenomenal year. I know it. We'll keep up with each other. If I can ever help you in any way, please reach out and ask. I am here to help you as much as possible. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on here. I don't even know what I'm trying to come up with my own name for the show right now. So right
Yeah.
now it's just the Get Your Fish on Pit podcast. So that's all it is. So thank you very much, dude.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Steve, for having me on. I've had an absolute blast this morning, and I don't know, get your fish on. It kind of sound. I like it. I mean, I- if you have another name that like comes together, that's like a aha moment, then maybe do that. But yeah, I like the name. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And yes, feel free, everybody that's watching this, to kind of stay tuned on the content this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of different, a lot of different stuff between the Dubai activation and fishing the opens and podcasts with athletes. Like there's gonna be a lot of different cool stuff on my page this year. And that's the goal, is to make everything kind of diverse.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how you do in the opens, because I really think that I'd like to see I mean, top 50, you can make top 50 no problem, right? In that Eastern division and move on to EQs.
I hope so. I mean, again, I'm
It's about consistency.
I like to talk things into existence, so I'm going to say that. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's fishing. Like there, things happen. I could be first in points. I could be 197th. I've been on kind of both sides of the spectrum. So I mean, anything can happen. You just gotta We're gonna grind and stay humble and just put our best foot forward, like I said, and wherever the cards fall is where they're gonna fall. So that's
But
all you
we'll
can
say
do.
some prayers for you and keep you in mind. And just want to say thank you again. Congratulations, and we will definitely keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Steve. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.